Crypto presents exciting new opportunities for the investment-minded, but it's also volatile and accelerating in complexity. That's why we created Token Metrics, an intelligent crypto platform backed by an industry-leading combination of data, AI, and media that feeds optimized portfolios to crypto investors. Featuring Token Metrics ratings to help you find the best investment opportunities in real time, an indices page that showcases various model portfolios, and deep insights into price predictions and technical analysis. Plus, with access to Token Metrics TV, monitor 24/7 exclusive crypto news and analysis. Whether you're a first-time trader or a seasoned crypto investor, you can stay informed and in control, backed by your all-in-one crypto companion, Token Metrics. Take control of crypto.
We are live. This is the Market Update. I'm your host, Bill Noble. This show is brought to you by tokenmetrics.com. If you need a roadmap in crypto and you need to find the bottom of this market, subscribe to this channel. Turn on alerts so you know when we're going live. And if you like the content, please give us a thumbs up. So, 2 or 3 days ago, I was talking about where do we buy? Where do we buy? And surprise, surprise, the market wants to do it today. So the question is it more like 2014? And I'll show you those charts. Or is it a giant fake out like 2008? We're going to go through the news first, right? Talk about the Celsius bankruptcy. So if you're here for the news, don't go anywhere. Right, we've got the charts of Bitcoin, Ethereum. We're also looking at Solana, MATIC, and Avalanche. And we're going to bring back kind of like Market Update Live, where we're going to look at the charts as the market's moving, right? Because the market's changed like 2 or 3 times today. Okay. And then we're going to actually try to take as many requests as we can so people can find out what's going on with their altcoins. What's going on with my altcoin? So, Ali from London here first. Welcome. Yasir from Poland. Carlos, Crypto Lion from Arkansas. Frederick from Boston. We have Mexico, Southern California. Manchester is here. Appreciate that. New York City, DC, right? Ontario, right? Spin is here. Welcome. Leeds, England, as usual. We appreciate you. Crypto Fish. BTC is like Lazarus, but hasn't been raised from the dead. Kev, I appreciate that. Appreciate the love. We have Maddie J from Canada. Fontana is in the house, right? SKT is stuck in a short. We'll see if we can help get him out and help fix what's going on, all right? East Tennessee is here, right? Donata, right? Hit the like, everybody. Madrid, Germany, right? Andre said moon yesterday. True. Hello from Wisconsin, New York City, Tampa, right? Space Cowboy with the notorious love. What's going on? Estonia, Kentucky, right? Celsius, unbanked my money. Sorry, Paul. I'm sorry to hear that. Still waiting to short BTC to make enough to get a Tesla. All right, we'll talk more about that. And Wisconsin is waiting to FOMO in, and we have New Jersey and Colorado. All right, folks, let's get into the news. Let's see what we got today. Okay, Bitcoin and Ethereum go down after the reflation report is worse than expected. So let's go over what's been happening in the market lately. CPI came in, it's terrible. It was up 9%. If they calculated it the way they calculated it in 1980, CPI would be 17.9%. So as most Americans know, the real rate of inflation is about 20%. Okay. Car repair, steak, any type of service business, the word inflation itself has been an excuse to raise prices, but crypto went down and didn't stay down. And that was your first clue. Then troubled crypto lender Celsius files for bankruptcy. They only had 167 million in cash. I saw on another YouTube channel right at the beginning, they were even encouraging people to put money into the system to pay off margin loans. right? So disreputable. Even this stunt where they were trying to show that they had all this wrapped Bitcoin and couldn't be liquidated. There's $1 billion hole in their balance sheet. And the question is, has all the Celsius collateral been liquidated? Right? In 2008, it didn't pay. It didn't pay to buy after a bankruptcy. Now, as of today, the market wants to go green. And then on top of that, we'll go into this later, the dollar is much higher. Why? And crypto's going up anyway. The reason the dollar's up is because the Bank of Japan just keeps flooding the market with printed yen. So it's like on one hand, the Fed's got to hike rates to stop inflation. And on the other hand, you have the Japanese flooding the market with yen. So crypto's like, problems? What problems? At least for today. So Celsius's Bitcoin mining subsidiary also joins, right, the lender in bankruptcy filing. Now, if you just skip one line and go down, the cost of production for Bitcoin, according to JP Morgan, have not looked at the details yet, but it's dropped to around 13K. So unlike in 2018, where the Bitcoin miners, they got pushed and their cost of production, basically wrecked them because the market went below the cost of production, right? So now JP Morgan is saying cost of production is 13,000, right? Having to do with electricity prices. All right. Also, the Senate approved the appointment of Michael Barr as top U.S. financial watchdog, ironically, an ex-Ripple advisor. And just in case you thought the metaverse and NFTs were dead, Tony Hawk has opened the largest skate park, largest virtual skate park ever made. Continue to believe we are going to have a monster move in possibly metaverse and NFTs. Stay tuned for the Hidden Gems report where we're going to talk about art, and I'm going to go over NFT tools that our analysts use to evaluate projects. Okay, so let's switch from that. Welcoming our friend to Atlanta, Georgia. Yes, Jacob is saying, they need it. Somebody's saying we need an explanation for the pump. So that is the explanation for the pump. The news was terrible and the market's going up anyway. We'll see if it lasts. Okay, it might when you see this chart. All right, so let's jump into your market update and check it out. All right, here we go. Is it 2014 all over again? All right. Now, one of the things I've been trying to figure out, which is why I was thinking lower than higher, is the last time we saw a down only in crypto was back in 2014. And what happened in Bitcoin was Bitcoin did this huge wick lower from like 575 to 400, right? It went all the way down. It came all the way back. And then it went all the way up to 700. So the range from this wick down to that wick up was 80%. 80%. So from the low to the high is 80% on what looked like a completely brutal squeeze. And I'm starting to get afraid that that's what's happening. So people are asking, should we FOMO in? Well, my answer is I can't give you a reason not to FOMO. Let's put it that way. Because if this is what's going on, right, then you got a massive temporary bottom. Now, I guess you got 2 days you can wait. Maybe the Celsius news, maybe there's another reality check. But I'm starting to get more afraid that this thing runs like 2014 than I am afraid of it going to 800. I mean, a lot of people wanted ETH and Bitcoin to go down so they could buy. And I joked yesterday that every time someone says, I want it to go down so I can buy, the max pain trade is it just goes, right? And I'm bringing this 2014 chart in because if it does just go, there isn't going to be any dips, right? It's just going to go. So if there's no dip, then you could be looking at, I don't know, you could be looking at 32K Bitcoin just because there was all this bad news and crypto went up anyway. So that's the trade du jour for today. So let's look at dollar index. Dollar index had a resistance at 108.80. The euro, 1 euro was equal to $1. You know, the euro is holding so far. You know, the Bank of Japan flooded the system with yen. So the dollar index is up, but it's not exploding. But again, crypto seems to want to go up anyway. Now, just in case you're following it, dollar yen does have a lot more room to go up. So the Bank of Japan may just continue flooding. Okay, now let's look at Ethereum. Let's think about this for a second. I know equities may have their problems, but I think crypto, whether this rally continues or whether it goes down and then V bottoms, crypto is anticipating that the economy is just going to fall out of bed, right? You know, Powell may have to come in and do another 100 basis point hike, and then that's the end, right? That's either the end of oil and copper. Commodities are falling out of bed, okay? And crypto may be saying, you know what? All the bad news is out. Now, is that true? I don't know, but as of, you know, midday on July 14th, that's the way it's traded. So let's go over both sides. So at a very simple level, sometimes there's a lot of conflicting signals. Sometimes at a very simplistic level, ETH held the 62% retracement of the initial move off the low. So ETH went from 840 to 12 something and then came back down, and 62% was 1037. And they hammered on that level like a whole bunch of times on a 4-hour chart, and it held. Now ETH's going straight up. And I guess if they take out 1200, I can't tell you not to FOMO in because of that 2014 example. It's almost like you have to FOMO with a tight stop. Because if it's 2014, there should be no dip. You should buy it. It should sit there and it should just go. And if that doesn't work, you put a stop in like real tight and that's it, right? And then if you get stopped, you can reevaluate to see if there is any residual bad news from Celsius, right? Okay, so it's all over like YouTube today. So there's something called the Pi cycle indicator, which is a mixture of moving averages. And this Pi cycle indicator has a bottom in for yesterday. This is Bitcoin, I believe, right? And then this indicator on TradingView has also got a bottom, ironically, 2 days ago in ETH, when ETH was cascading lower around 1,000. So again, the trade du jour for today will be FOMO. Now, should you FOMO or not? All right, let's just pretend for a second that you're a short seller and you're inclined to be short. Well, if Bitcoin goes to 20,800 and fails, then you might look for 16K. Just giving you the straight wave count off a chart, right? So if you don't want to FOMO and you want to be short, I'd be selling against 20,800. Okay, if you look at the 90-minute chart, it looks like, you know, Bitcoin is doing that classic A, B, C correction. You know, I always tell you that C is a nightmare. Right? It's just horrible, right? ETH up 8% in your face, right? It's just beating you up. So while it could be 2014, it could also be a simple correction. We won't know for 2 days. Now, when you look at Ethereum on this DeMark chart, now we ignored the 13 and 9 bottoms on the weekly chart. I don't think you can ignore this one, right? So if you're a short seller, it's like, short it now or forever hold your peace. Because I will tell you, if ETH closes today up like 7 or 8%, this is going to be a confirmed 13 bottom. So a confirmed 13 bottom is the 13 signal, and then it starts to count 1 the other way, right? And I don't know that you want to like mess around with that. It's like, God, you know, if the 2014 example is out there and ETH and crypto didn't go down on bad news. All right, now, this is the downtrend in ETH as measured by a linear regression band. So the top of the band is around 1180. And as you can see, it really has not paid to buy either sideways moves or big spike ups in ETH. Now, if that said, if ETH blows through 1200, and this is the level that I think you use. I think you use 1180 as your pivot. So if you've been listening so far, and we appreciate it and want you to hit the like button, right? The level that I'm going to use to say, all right, is this going up or down? Okay, I would use 1180, right? If ETH is above 1180, then it can go higher. If ETH is below 1180, then I would maybe take a deep breath, wait, and see what happens. It's tough to buy things at the top of the range unless it's going to be 2014 all over again. Okay, 1180 is the key pivot. Now, another important level, okay, I think is in Solana. Solana has 3561 as a key AI point from Token Metrics. Now, Solana has not been able to maintain itself above that level, right, for the last month. And it would be very interesting to see if Solana gets above that level and stays above it. Most of the time, it goes above it for like 3 days and fails. So I think along with looking at 1180 in ETH, 20,800 in Bitcoin, what goes on around 35 in Solana is going to matter. Now, just as a point of information, QNT, a payment system, has been on a tear. It's been up almost 100%. The Token Metrics grade mooned, right, all the way up to 80 and has stayed there and has caught some of the move. QNT now appears in a lot of our indices. So if you think this is a bottom and it's time for altcoins, Token Metrics' site has already got stuff on it that can help you just jump on these moves if that's what the thing to do is. Now let's talk about MATIC. So MATIC has this one guy, you know, that's on Twitter and YouTube, and he kind of loves to hate on MATIC. And MATIC was on Disney's list for getting in their incubator, and they're just completely punishing the shorts, rallying it right up to major resistance around 67 or 68 cents. Now, somebody's no doubt going to come in and say, hey, Bill, what about MATIC? You know, we're close to a 9 top. MATIC is at resistance, right? The question is, does anyone care about resistance anymore? Right? You may get one of these things where it goes up and then comes back down again. Again, I think this is all going to be tied to ETH at 1180, okay? And that is the PowerPoint version of the market update, okay? Okay, so let's try to get some questions. So Mr. Ahmed says, in this bear market, do you think it's worth to buy any micro coins? Well, honestly, all throughout the down market, save the time where ETH was waterfalling, micro caps, if you can find the right one using Token Metrics' ratings page, right, ones that have high grades, that's really the only trade that there is. Okay, so somebody's asking, above what price do we FOMO in to BTC? We have Slovenia and Arlington here, along with an Aussie in Poland. Welcome. All right, and we have Switzerland here. All right, so let's go into like your interactive market update, because we haven't done that in a couple of days, and I miss it. I don't know about you. All right, okay, so ETH is now at 1192. Okay, Bitcoin is at 20,675. Okay, so let's go to the DeMark work and let's look at 90-minute Bitcoin. So I think if you got a daily close about 20,800, then that's where you got to go with Bitcoin, right? In the meantime, it looks like ABC, and it looks like it's going right into a 62% retracement at 20,800. So if Bitcoin can actually take out 20,800, then I think you just got to go with it. Now, this is ETH, right? This is actually unbelievable, right? This is a 90-minute chart. Let me see if I can draw some fib stuff on here. Okay. So ETH is taken out its 62% retracement of its last down move at 1172. So unless ETH is back below 1172, I wouldn't get in the way. Honestly, I would not get in the way. I mean, I had no idea. When I saw this at 1130, I'm like, okay, this is going to stop here, and it just exploded. Okay. All right, now let's go to altcoins because I know that y'all are going to be really interested in that. Okay, Lawn Shark is noting Zcash is pumping today. I did not buy enough. Okay. Okay, Avalanche. Let's go to a 4-hour chart. Okay, again, 2017 is a key level here, and all this stuff is ripping towards resistance, like it just doesn't care, right? Solana, okay, on a 4-hour chart. Okay, so here's why it matters in Solana. So we're working on a 9 top in Solana on this massive, kind of like mini God candle. In the past, when you've gotten 9 tops in Solana, like over here, that was July 7th. And then over here, that was June 24th. Okay, the world has not been kind to people who buy the 9 top in Solana. All right. Solana's big level from RAI was at 35. It's now at 36. All right. And the real resistance is at 38.51. Okay. So altcoins and anything that they can squeeze out short is just what they're doing. They're just brutally squeezing it out. Right. Aaron says QNT to the moon. Let's pull that up. Actually, you know what I was looking at today? I was actually looking at RUNE. I saw like Cointelegraph or something right about RUNE. Man, with the CeFi world failing and probably never coming back, okay, RUNE is cross-chain DeFi or cross-chain trading. I listened to a lot of their presentations at Consensus, right? I went to some of their events. You know, you got a 9 bottom here in June, and it just sat here around. Fair value for this is around like $1.50. So it's like Zcash and RUNE are on my, I don't know, my dreamers list. You know, they're like my 100x ideas for the next cycle, not investment advice. Okay, so you have like Decentraland, right? Metaverse. You know, this has like been up only for like the last couple hours, and you've got this, warning bottoming sign here. Let's go to MATIC. Again, like, look at this. Like, MATIC made this huge base, and now it's just kind of going through it like it doesn't care. I mean, it's not fully going through it yet. It's around 70 cents. Like, when there's bad news and you get up only, I think the way I would say it is just respect the market, right? Just respect the market. All right. Jashim Ahmed says 3 years with Token Metrics. And just for you, I'm still subscribing. Awesome. Excellent analysis, sir. We appreciate that. And we appreciate your business. Okay. Let's go to crypto.com. See what's happening there. All right. So again, as with all these other coins, the recent rally has created a 9 top. All right. And I don't know that you want to buy it right this second. Okay. This, you wait, like, say, a day, right? If this thing dips and then starts going up again, right? It's not a bull market until it stops going up and it kind of goes sideways and then resumes, right? Or just stops for like 4 hours and then resumes. Because again, that 2014 thing is in the back of my mind. Okay. Someone's coming in for near. Okay. So near on a 4-hour chart I mean, man, there's nobody home until 385. Now, if I turn around and go to Token Metrics, okay, for a little altcoin overtime, let's go through our spreadsheet and see what we got in there. Okay. So these are the coins where the grades have seen the biggest jump. So they haven't gotten above 80, where our AI is going to pick up it on like it, but we're trying to get a jump on it. So we noticed that Badger is in here. That's DeFi on Bitcoin. Sheeb is making the list. So people seem to want to speculate again, right? Unless you see what's in here, right? Badger building products to bring Bitcoin to DeFi. Okay. Scheiden Network is a multi-chain dApp hub on Kusama, right? Remember when Web3 was about connectivity? Okay. We have a crypto exchange in India, etc. So what we do is we look for, and one of the best reasons to tune in to the stream is to get these coins so you can do research on your own, right? Like check out those coins for additional information. Now, QNT, right? The daily token metrics grade and weekly grade are at 84%. Okay. If you go to the TA indicator on QNT, right? You know, you can see that there's no resistance here until 88. Right? So it made this huge climactic bottom. And listen, this is a payment system, right? This is something where they were going to have, Latin America was going to form like their own euro or have their own stable coin or CBDCs running on this QNT network. I always thought this was like, you know, this was like Ripple and XRP without the court problems. So I remember liking this back in the day, and the market is all over this. And if you look inside of our indices are starting to pick this up. So, I mean, token metrics indices, I mean, basically what they do is they help you get on things that are moving. Now, you know, crypto.com index is half cash. Okay. But Polygon, Uniswap, and QNT are mooning. So if you want to trade this thing and you want to jump in and see if you make it, well, you can put a stop in. And if it doesn't work out, hell, you might be able to get Bitcoin at much lower prices 2 days from now. But there is a part of me that is worried about this 2014 thing. Okay, here's Badger. So, you know, Badger is up a lot. It hasn't flipped on the visual trends indicator yet. Okay. But, you know, on Badger, if anybody decides to bring, you know, DeFi to Bitcoin, the next level in Badger is 391. Again, this is not a shill because the market can turn around and go lower. But, you know, there are a lot of reasons. Okay. I just wanted to bring up Uniswap. So Uniswap had a buy signal at 581 on June 26th. Uniswap is now at 625. And if you look at resistance, it's got resistance at 676. So I'm not sure that the risk reward in Uniswap is great. All right. Now let's move to the hidden gems section. So welcome everybody to Hidden Gems. Right? I'm your host, Bill Noble, and what we're going to do today is we're going to slowly but surely go through some highly rated NFTs that we've scored, right? So if you want to get involved, if you don't necessarily think, you don't know whether the bottom in ETH is 900 or 1100, but you still want to speculate and get involved, let's talk about NFTs and NFT tools. So Moonbirds scored 89%. It's one of the most premium alpha groups in the world. Right? Space Runners, a Solana NFT trying to bridge the gap between sneakers and fashion. Okay. Partnering with the NBA. Okay. Nouns DAO. Okay. Some sort of 100 ETH project. Okay. Auctions an NFT every 24 hours. And then there's Azuki, which our guys found at 3 ETH. Now, Azuki is interesting. There's a lot of bad press because the founder did a men behaving badly thing and rugged 3 other projects. However, the Azuki team continues to build it out. Personally, I love the art. I grew up with Cowboy Bebop. Feel free to comment below if you even know what that is. And I saw this come out at 3 ETH a long time ago, and I knew this was going to be big. World of Women. Okay, it's a blue chip project. It hasn't done a lot lately, but it's held by a lot of prominent women in the NFT world. And then there's OK Bears on Solana. Okay, and this could be an interesting project to get out of because OK Bears was a bear market play. So whether there's one more dip or one more heave, or whether this thing is full out reversing, okay, our analyst, not investment advice, is like, hey, maybe you do some selling here. All right, now let's go through some of the tools, all right, that our guys like to use, and we're going to open them up one at a time, all right, and just see what we can figure out from looking at it. Okay, so this is Flips Finance. Okay, it's actually rating, NFTs here, and it's also giving you rankings. So flips.finance is one of the 10 tools that our guys use the most. There's Exodia, if I'm saying that right, tools for pro NFT traders. Okay, NFT trading tools, data and alpha. Okay, where you're designing like your own trading experiences. Okay, again, not investment advice here. Okay, so we're all going to make it, something I made fun of a long time ago. Now it actually may be time for we're all going to make it. So it's WGMI.io, and you can see this is like coin market cap for NFTs. Okay, now there's something our guys had mentioned, Dune Analytics. Okay, this is really interesting because it gives you things like unique wallets that traded an NFT that week. Okay, the number of wallets that have ever owned an NFT. So this Dune program or site is kind of almost like Glassnode for NFTs. It's what it feels like, right? You can get a flavor for what's going on in the overall NFT market. Our guys have talked about mint.fun. Okay, what's mint.fun? It's where you can go and actually get lower priced NFTs. Now, in a minute, I'm going to switch off this, right, and move over into something that I'm also talking about, which is art, right? And I know art is subjective, right? I know it's subjective. But when it comes to art, right, art and stocks are not correlated. So if getting the right place here. If something happens to the stock market or something happens to say OpenSea, because I'm getting breaking news now, okay, OpenSea is letting go of 20% of their team. Now, that's really unfortunate because the crypto industry is going through a massive contraction. But isn't it funny that OpenSea is giving up and laying off people right at where the average technical analyst is saying, you know what, we're 3 days from a bottom. I don't have the right price. And somebody actually said it right yesterday, except the stream was signing off. So let me digress a minute from NFTs. Okay, we don't know where the bottom is. You may have to start the DCA process now at higher prices. I brought this up yesterday, and this guy said, you know what, dude, stop pretending you know where the low is. And I wasn't pretending to know where the low is. I was pretending to know where like the ultimate buy prices were. It was either 18 or 16. All right, but the market doesn't seem interested in getting there. Again, we'll find out if you're supposed to buy the bankruptcy or not, whether it's 2014 or 2018. Now, there's a part of me that's like, you know what? It's a difficult market to figure out. It really is. And this is a little something special on the educational front for the hidden gems segment of our show. right? The question is, how do you learn about art, right? And don't worry, we'll go back to a live market update and we'll check where everything is trading. But let me just give you a flavor of how to learn about art. This is from Jacob, our NFT analysts. All right. Now, I said to him, hey, why don't we educate people as to what art in the NFT world looks like? Now, you may not be able to afford this art, but art is in the eye of the beholder, right? And if you do a little homework, you buy an art history book, right? It could be worth it, because I think the next round of NFTs is going to be driven by art. If the world is ugly, beauty is going to come back. Utility and gameplay and whether or not my character has a weapon or not is interesting, but so is art. And it's so not anything someone's talking about. So let's do a little education, right? Autoglyphs, the first on-chain generative art on the ETH blockchain. A self-contained mechanism for creation and ownership. Okay, 300 ETH floor price, right? That's what original art's going for. Now, the message here is, if you find art that you like, or you do your homework using any of those tools that we showed, everyone has given up on NFTs. Everybody. The Fidenza series comprised 1,000 colorful pieces of art launched by Art Blocks. Okay, 100 ETH floor. Ringers, series of 1,000 generative art NFTs made up of strings and pegs. Also launched on Art Blocks, 59 ETH floor price. Chromie Squiggles, okay, the heart and soul of Art Blocks. This was the first collection, 13 ETH floor price. They're falling in floor as we go through it. Okay, Grifters, okay, 600 odd static art, okay, powered by Async blueprints, guaranteed for randomness, 20 ETH. So art, okay, now is that my idea of art? Not necessarily, but I'm 52 years old. You may know what's art going forward, because beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Okay. And some of this stuff, I mean, even if ETH is at 1,200, who cares? The NFT craze occurred with ETH at 4,000. Okay, so whether ETH's at 1,000 or whether it's 800, okay, NFTs, it's time to do your NFT homework. Beeple. Consensus, people stood in line for hours to get their like premium passes so they could get in and hear about Beeple. Okay, you know, movement and 3D graphics. Right. This collection is one of like the more affordable Beeples, 17 ETH floor price. I know, not in your budget. Can't pronounce this on the air, but these NFTs allow users to participate in futures events and exclusivity. So yeah, there is an element of flexing in NFTs. And I think if the NFT market comes back, art and flexing may trump functionality. Okay, 0.41 ETH floor price. All right. Art representing snapshots of memories and a mirror into the heart. This is an 18-year-old artist who has sold art at Christie's for hundreds of thousands of dollars. 1.5 ETH floor price. Not investment advice. Fragments of an infinite field. This collection is compositional system which I idealize plant species from a Brazilian digital artist. So you're like, it's a bunch of lines, but it's a 4 ETH floor price. Will a speculative mania come back to art? If there's a crypto bottom and you can't figure out where ETH or where Bitcoin will start or stop, or if you're a larger portfolio holder, in my opinion, not investment advice, art's got to be in there. Gallery of digital assets, right? They have a team plans on curating collections, and this Mint Pass is effectively a membership that offers collectors exclusive access. So a pass that gets you art is 7 ETH. Now, let's say Bitcoin goes to 15K. let's say, this is a bullshit bottom, right? And that the real bottom is later. This stuff is worth keeping an eye on and worth studying, in my opinion. Okay. Now, somebody says Bebop rules. Appreciate that. Okay. Joseph's got the sneaker heads, which we also featured, which Jacob also found, right? We are actually working. I'm talking to my guys. I'm like, hey, guys, we're going to bring you on. You guys are going to be nice to them. We're going to bring you on, and they're going to talk about what's in their personal account, because these guys have been hoovering up all this stuff that went to zero, right? In NFTs, support is at zero, all right? Okay, Bali says every cycle usually has a different thing hyped. True. But remember, CryptoPunks came out, CryptoPunks were worth nothing, and then CryptoPunks became major pop art, and Visa, as in the credit card company, payments company, put one on their balance sheet. All right, let's go back to the market update. Let's just see where this wild thing is right now. All right, hang on. Okay, well, we're gonna check. We're gonna dive deep into some granularity on ETH to see what's really going on, and see if we can get any more hints as to what's happening. So this is basically we're gonna basically do TA live. Okay, a lot of times when I don't know what to do, I go to like an 89-minute chart. I start there. Okay, and as you can see, ETH is just blowing through this like regression band. I mean, okay, it's the same thing in ETH. I'm sorry, the same thing in Bitcoin. Now let's go to a 4-hour time frame. So in a 4-hour time frame, oddly enough, Bitcoin's like in a range. It's in a range between 19 and 22. So for all my talk about 2014, in Bitcoin, it's just a range. Now, ETH, same thing, right? Everyone sells at 1020. Everybody buys at 1270. And we just go back and forth. So this is one of the things I look at and I say, all right, maybe you don't get too excited. Maybe it's just a range. I think if ETH keeps going, like I said, if ETH is above 1180, then you have to be careful. Now, stocks were down and now they're not. Okay, let's do like a fib retracement thing. I don't know if you guys like live TA or not, but this is like some insight into how I try to figure this out. Like I was sitting here, like no joke, going, I don't know if I can figure this out today, but I'm doing it live on the air with you guys, and I appreciate that. So if you like this type of thing, feel free to leave a comment, right? So this is just like live figuring it out. So, equities were getting killed this morning, and it looked like they were just going to fall apart, and it held the 62% retracement of the last run up. So all these markets want to buy the bad news. Let's go over here and see if I can find my stocks page, because I was like intently looking at this. Okay, so this is S&P weekly. Okay, now far be it from me to love legacy market, but the yield curve is inverted, and normally that's terrible for stocks. Normally that's terrible for the economy, but who cares? Like all that talk I did yesterday about the inverted yield curve, how did it help you trade crypto? Well, it helped you because, this idea of a Fed pivot of Jerome Powell going, yeah, we're hiking rates 100 basis points, but we expect future economic weakness, right? Everyone's drooling for that kind of Kool-Aid from the Fed. Now, on top of that, equities, S&P, right? The last time it was below this particular DeMark Gann hybrid band was COVID. And now it's sitting here right on top of it. So nobody's in any big hurry to sell S&P. And, you know, I got a lot of smart guys in the equity market, you know, GBTC, right? The Bitcoin trust that they wanted to turn into an ETF. GBTC is back where it was in 2020, right? And I'm like, wow, I can't wait to get Bitcoin at 15 or 16K. There might be too many people thinking of that. If you looked at the world through the lens of GBTC, I mean, this has got a 13 and a 9 bottom and an overshoot with a ton of support underneath it. So somebody was asking, like, when do you FOMO into BTC? Well, I guess above 22, because back over here, we were showing the range, right? We showed the range on the 4-hour chart. So I guess the FOMO point is up here at 22. Okay. Now, if you want to FOMO in now, okay, with ETH, you got to look at the daily chart. And say, okay, there's the entire downtrend in ETH, and like 1129, 1140, that's also a GAN number. So if ETH is sticky above that point and you want to go with it, go with it. Okay. Okay. Mateo likes it. People like to see the process. Okay. This is the process. I thought of that when I was doing this. I mean, I know this may come as a shock, but there are days where I sit here and I'm like, I can't figure this out. Like, people call in for the crystal ball, and there are days like today where I'm like, what is this thing doing? All right, somebody was asking about near. Okay, so here's like a 4-hour chart near. Okay, now let's throw like the Williams alligator in. So the alligator moving average system is turning. Let's look at a daily chart. Okay, so ironically, on a daily chart in near, you know, when these moving averages kind of get clumped together, the Williams system doesn't like to trade, but this is like green only last 2 days with wicks lower. See, that's the thing that's got my attention, right? They've tried to take this thing down twice, and it's not working, right? Avalanche is the same way. So nothing really going on with the alligator there. Now, there's like a somewhat note, something interesting to note, right? Okay, there is a trend line in Avalanche that I was interested in. Okay, that comes in right at the regression line, okay, at about 21. So I guess if this thing is going to go 2014, right, you know, big moves can happen when these things are at zero, these Williams oscillators. So, you know, AVAX goes up to 21 and fails, and there's negative Celsius news, and all the shorts have covered. Okay, but with the 2014 example, I'm really honestly, I'm not going to sit here and tell you don't get long, right? I'm not. I put a stop in if it's wrong. Well, you know, I turn my back on the bear, and we'll all be happy because it can go lower. Normally when it goes lower, you're upset. You're not happy. So if you're happy, so if you want it to go lower so you can buy, it doesn't go lower. Okay. All right. So somebody said oil is moving back up again. Let's look at that. Okay. So there was regression band support in oil around 96. Okay. There was GAN support at 95. Okay. So geopolitical events are out there. Oil up, Bitcoin down, right? Like that collapse in oil was one of the things that I think was fueling Bitcoin this morning. Now, I want to take a look at commodities overall, because I think this matters. There's a lot of legacy people on the tape who are talking about how commodities collapsed. Okay, so this was something I actually had the moonshot in commodities, but it stopped, right? So this is not necessarily oil only. This is like oil, grains, other commodities. And as you can see, this CRB index, right, which you actually have to hunt for in TradingView, this is falling out of bed, right? This is one of the signals that the economy is rolling over. This is why people think there's a Fed pivot, and this is why ETH is up and staying up, right? If they think the Fed, because I've been through these tightening cycles with the Fed before, like the last hike, what the bond market does, or all markets do, is they see the hike, they go, okay, they hiked, and then they just start going the other way. They buy bonds, they buy stocks, they do whatever, right? And crypto always moves before everything else, which is why I'm like, damn, if this is what's happening with commodities, the Fed's going to pivot eventually, and crypto's pricing in that now, okay? So, yeah, I wanted to get it lower, but you may not get it lower, and it may not be comfortable for you to buy ETH at 1190. It may not be, and it may not even be smart. But, you know, if you've got total dry powder, buy some with a stop, not investment advice. And, you know, if you can buy it and it works, then it's a bull market, right? And then you can start adding on the way up. And if it crashes, well, awesome. If somebody's got Celsius risk to dump, great. But most likely Celsius was just effing around with borrowed wrapped ETH to try to hide the fact that they had $1 billion hole in their balance sheet. Now, whether their positions have to be liquidated by creditors later on in the month, I don't know. So there's a saying that I'm going to leave you with. Don't make too much of any one day, right? Don't make too much of any one day. Yeah, this is up. Yeah, this looks like $1 million, right? July 14th looks like $1 million. It looks like, you know, oh my God, I have to have a small long position, and maybe you do. All right. I would still give this a chance, put a stop on the long, and see what happens when if this thing turns around and goes down again. Because if it does turn around and go down, ironically, it's going to be violent, because they're pushing shorts out now and making people who want it to go up start nibbling. Okay, if you nibble, use a stop. If you don't know what to do, you got company. And if you don't know what to do, don't do anything, right? If it's going to go 2014 and it's going to go up 80% from the low, you might have a day or two to figure it out. All right, so 1180, 1140, and 1125, those are the levels I would watch and ETH. If it's above that, it's okay. And if it's not, well, go study NFTs. Go study, okay? Art is coming back. It's just a question of when. I've never talked about NFTs on the show, right? That's because it was ridiculous at the top, and then it just crashed and stayed down while the currency it was denominated in collapsed. Don't make too much of one day, right? If you don't know what to do, don't do anything, and study. That's the market update for today, folks. I'm your host, Bill Noble. We'll see you soon.